Warning, this podcast was produced by two men who still think that swearing is both big and clever. As a result, it contains quite a lot of it. Therefore, this podcast is not suitable for children, unless they're really fucking cool children. Yes, people, Dave Fensom here with another episode of Pop Collaborate and Listen. As always, I'm joined by my great friend, Mr. Krista Greer.
Hey everyone, welcome along. Thank you for joining us.
So look, let's talk about Morrissey.
Sure.
Okay, it's quite difficult to talk about Morrissey without talking about the bitter old man that Morrissey has apparently become.
Yeah, it does seem to be an overriding feature of his personality these days.
Now,
but give me a potted history of your history of Morrissey.
Well, I'll tell you what, right? In the 80s
Yes.
And the early 90s, my impression of the Smiths were it was a bunch of waily, moany old shit, and I wasn't interested in it.
Okay, right, sure.
I kind of took against Morrissey. I didn't like his voice, and it wasn't until quite a bit later when a lot of people had, that I liked, had an affection for Morrissey and the Smiths, that I kind of reappraised them. And, there are Smith songs that I like, and there are Smith songs that I really like.
Okay, but you're still on the side of, I'm not a Smiths fan.
No.
But there are definitely some of their catalogue that are very, very good.
Yeah, I mean, I think How Soon Is Now is one of the best songs of the 80s.
Is it the one that was covered by...
by Quicksand.
Quicksand,
yeah.
Okay, so was that one of the first times that you went, maybe there's something here?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. I mean, I'm probably I'm probably resistant to it into the 2000s, to be honest with you.
Okay, right.
But the Smiths have got a load of good stuff. A lot of it, I think I would say the things I like about it are things that Johnny Marr has done.
Okay.
But I will concede that Morrissey is certainly an interesting lyricist.
Okay. In 1994, because you're saying like from the 80s, so you were aware of the Smiths at the time, because you grew up in the 80s, you were aware of the Smiths, you were obviously aware of Morrissey's solo.
Yeah.
It was happening.
Yeah.
In 1994, you were aware of this album at all?
I mean, I would have seen it coming out. I mean, I'd have been, I'd have had, the Enemy and the Melody Maker weren't my first choice of reading.
Yeah.
I'd probably be reading, kind of Kerrang over it. But I was reading these
Vauxhall.
papers as well. They were in a common room in sixth form.
Sure,
or
okay, yeah.
Someone had them, or there was no internet. So, if you had something to do and you had some time to pass, you'd pick up an NME or something because it cost like 70p or whatever.
And at that time, Morrissey was still such a huge figurehead for the indie scene. He was getting interviewed at any opportunity, if he's got an album to promote or if he's just said something.
Yeah, and look, to be clear, I think probably where my original antipathy towards Morrissey came from was Smash Hits magazine, because the Smiths were big enough that Smash Hits covered them. And,
Sure.
I believe Morrissey did interviews with Smash Hits magazine.
Okay.
And, it wasn't at the time what I was interested in. It never really jibed with me, which now, sitting, and I look at my kind of taste in music, and I've got quite a big space in my life for a bit of miserabilism,
Of course,
I quite like a bit of a dour, miserable song and songwriter. But I think as we get through this, I think we'll talk about some of the distinctions there, I think.
Similar to you, I took against Morrissey and the Smiths in general. I remember them being on Top of the Pops whenever I was like 9 or 10 in the mid-80s, and I was not interested in that at all. In the same way as I do remember the Jam being on Top of the Pops in like 81, 82, or 80, 81 probably, and me thinking, well, this is bollocks. Because it wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to hear whatever Spandau Ballet were doing, and I wanted to hear fucking Joe Dolce do Shut Up in Your Face.
Yeah.
So whenever the Smiths were on, that was instead of, you could have had more Duran Duran there, or you could have had the new Michael Jackson, whatever it was. I wanted more pop, and that I was too young to be into the Smiths at that point. I was therefore also a little bit too young to be kind of a disaffected student when he started doing his solo career and be into that. Whenever like the Mary Whitehouse Experience were doing their Morrissey type jokes in 1990, for example, I got the joke because I knew Morrissey was miserable and the Smiths were miserable. I didn't get the references.
Sure.
But I knew who he was, but I had already decided I didn't like him at that point.
I mean, it's not a dissimilar story,
Yeah.
to be honest with you.
I think where we would differ then is that whenever I went to university and started, meeting different people and going to different clubs, the clubs I was going to in Belfast weren't really playing the Smiths much, right? Whenever I came over to England, the Smiths were a much bigger deal in those indie clubs, and so I was hearing new songs that I hadn't heard before. I had, heard the big ones for sure, but I was hearing different stuff, and friends of mine who were into the Smiths were playing me with things, and I then realised that I'd missed out on quite a lot of stuff, and it wasn't instant. It wasn't, bam, there you go, I'm not a Smiths fan. I still wouldn't call myself a Smiths fan, but I think that some of their stuff is just wonderful. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really disagree with you. I probably haven't delved as deeply as you have. But
it's also going to be timing, because I was more like 93, 94, 95 going, oh, this is a big new thing. If you were a bit later on, then I have a few more years on you of listening to.
I mean, you've got to remember how indie resistant I was.
This is very true. This is going to come up, I reckon.
It was quite a tribal environment, and I found myself staunchly in one tribe, I guess.
Okay, so this, we haven't even said the title yet. The album that we're doing is Vauxhall And I from March 1994, and it got to number 1 for 1 week. This is his 4th solo album, which is weird to think, because that equals the amount of Smiths albums there were.
Yeah.
When you think of the Smiths, you think of this huge band who influenced a generation and just had loads and loads of work. Now they had 4 albums.
Yeah, but if your quality control's low, you can bang more out.
But yeah, so this is Morrissey's 4th one. He described it at the time in interviews, and this is an obvious thing to say, but he described, this is the best I've ever done. He's like, this is the best I've ever done. But he also said that he thought it was going to be his last album.
Okay.
He thought this was his defining moment, basically, and would be the last one. It was the first solo album to reach number 1 since his debut, Viva Hate, so it was a big deal, and it was also the first one that made any kind of inroads into the US charts. He had a fan base over there, but in terms of commercial sales, it was the first one that got anywhere in a solo album.
The thing that always kind of blows my mind, and it's the huge support for Morrissey and the Smiths within like the LA Chicano kind of community.
So. Apparently, it's not even just in the LA, but massive in Mexico.
Don't really get it, but there we go.
No.
Right, so let's look at the album cover.
Yes, indeed. Okay.
I mean, it's a picture of Morrissey, isn't it?
It is a picture of Morrissey, and that follows on from what he's done on all his solo albums. I mean, the Smiths famously all of their kind of album covers and single covers were artistic images. They were, found photos or photos of famous people, but a very specific style. Not featuring any members of the band, except for like the kind of the compilations and the best ofs that the label put out. Morrissey's solo albums have all just been, here's Morrissey. In various, he started off still very kind of fey in the post-Smiths world back in like 88 when he put his first one out. You can see that it goes through and he becomes a little bit more kind of tough guy, a bit more rugged. I mean, saying Morrissey's rugged is fucking, maybe a stretch, but he definitely is not presenting the effete image that he did at the start.
Sure. I mean, these days, basically, he looks like fucking Stuart Lee at a UKIP meeting.
Very much so, yeah. And he did. The album before this, he went kind of more rockabilly. He got a rockabilly band in for the backing band. This one, it's a close up of his face. He's a handsome guy. It's a good image. It works for. I'm sure the Morrissey fans are like, yeah, I like this.
Krista loves Morrissey.
A little bit of Stephen Patrick, please.
Yeah, man. All right, yeah. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. I've got not a lot to say about it, really.
No, it's a very easy album cover to do. Yep. He's presumably gone, I want a photo of me. They've got a photographer in, taken a photo, gone, bam, stick Morrissey Vauxhall And I on the top of that.
Right, let's crack on with the album.
Okay.
So the first track's called Now My Heart Is Full.
All right. Okay. So this is track 1, and it looks like this was also the 3rd and final single that was released, but I can't see it charting anywhere. So I think it was released as a single, but didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it's kind of got a downbeat, like that kitchen sink indie feel to it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Like vaguely in the intro reminds me a little bit of like something like "This Is How It Feels" by the Spiral Carpets.
Okay, yep. I think it's a nice start. It starts pleasantly. And I'm reminded as well that I do like his voice. And I don't know if that's a sticking point for you.
Well, I like Morrissey's voice in places.
Okay.
And I like...
I think that baritone, he's got a very smooth voice.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. It's a nice voice, yeah.
Right.
I think musically this one is quite pub rocky. That's what it sounds like
really?
to me.
Okay.
When you hear like the kind of the drum fills and stuff, I'm
Yeah.
just like, this could just be any band in any pub.
I mean, the drumming on the album in general, I've found, apart from maybe one track near the end, I've found very just standard.
Oh, right, it's
But even the guitars, because in the previous album he got 2 new guitarists, and they are the writers of the songs as well. They write the tunes,
Yep.
so usually it'd be credited to one or the other of them. And the guitars, in general, are just kind of more background in this, but I don't mind. I'm fine, because this to me it reminds me of plenty of other indie guitar stuff, but I don't mean that in a bad way.
See, and I guess that to me, this just is kind of meh to me.
This reminds me of something. Is it like 70s Bowie or something like that?
Yeah, it's like a little glam flourish almost,
Maybe
isn't
so.
it?
Maybe
right?
so.
I mean, lyrically, it's quite oblique, obviously. You know, and obviously, he's got a very nice turn of phrase and palette that he draws from.
He can, sometimes he goes too far, but I think when he gets it right, there are some really nice flourishes lyrically.
So yeah, he's drawing, from his, as I say, in terms of palette, what I mean is he's drawing like Dallo Spicer, I can't read my own writing, Burley and Cubit from Brighton Rocks.
Yes, indeed.
Referencing Patrick Doonan, who's like an old British actor who committed suicide.
Absolutely, yeah.
So he's, the thing that I get though, that I often get, and this won't be the last time I say this,
right.
I'm left with a feeling of just a self-pitying man wallowing in his own moaning.
Okay, sure.
Right? As such, this song doesn't really do anything for me.
Okay, right.
It leaves me almost entirely cold. This
Does
song.
it? I really like this. I think this is great.
Yeah. I kind of going into this was like, I think we're going to disagree quite badly on some of this. It doesn't absolutely nothing for me at all.
I must admit, right, whenever I was listening through initially the album, because I've never heard this album before.
Yeah.
I think I've only heard the one single as well. So in the background, I was like, yeah, this is washing over me. It's fine, but it's nothing. It's there. But over time and time, some of the songs, they showed themselves more. They're like, oh, right, this is catchy, this is whatever to me.
Okay.
And this is one of them. I think this is really good now. I really do. Lyrically, I don't really know what it's about. It may well be him wallowing. It may well be him just going... It's like... There's a lot of themes about growing up and maturity going on, and that have been written about as well. There's an interview from 95 where he says, this song was the definitive expression of my change to adulthood, of my maturity, and to be honest, I was very happy to be able to sing this text, to have reached this state. After this song, I could perfectly retire because I've come full circle. So there are many themes about growing up and being more sensible and not being such a dickhead, teenager or whatever. And I think there's part of that. It is done in a bit of a wallowing way, and it sounds like he's wallowing because he's Morrissey. Nothing he's going to sing is not going to sound like he's self-pitying. But there's a lot to this that I really, really enjoy. It dug itself into my brain.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad for you.
The chorus, I really enjoy that. Really like it. I think it's a very good start to the album. But I came to think that to me, sounds like an album closer. It sounds like he's going for that big kind of epic outro. It's the longest song on the album at 5 minutes.
Yeah, I guess it's difficult for me to kind of respond to that, because I do see what you mean in terms of length. But his song leaves me so cold.
Yeah.
That you could put that wherever you wanted on the album, and it'd just be like, oh, well, that exists.
Right.
For me, it's like I listened to that and I went, this is kind of what I was kind of worried I was going to get.
Right.
At this point, I'm like, if I've got 11 tracks of that, I'm not going to have a fantastic time.
No.
Anyway, right.
Apparently Phoebe Bridgers has named this one on her list of 5 essential Morrissey songs.
Okay.
She says it's the song that best encapsulates Morrissey for me.
Right.
There you are. Yeah.
Okay.
I was impressed because I think, similar to you, I went into this dubious. We've talked about this album coming up on the previous couple of episodes, and I was expecting to not enjoy anything on here. I thought this was going to be full of kind of Smiths tuneless nonsense, and I think there's a really good tune there.
Okay.
So I'm happy with that. I really am.
I'm glad for you, mate. Indeed. I'm glad for you. Right, track number 2 is called Spring-Heeled Jim.
All right. And obviously that title is a play on Spring-Heeled Jack, which was like a Victorian era English urban legend thing.
Okay, so it's kind of bassy opening.
Yep. Oh, right. It's not going where I thought it was going to from the opening.
It's kind of weird, cool bit. And then we're going to start getting these samples coming in from documentary, The Lambeth Boys. We Are the Lambeth Boys.
Yes.
Now, they do a thing with this sample where it starts off here, and you kind of think, oh, it's on the intro.
Yep.
But it's kind of constantly under the track and keeps coming up and coming down, which I find very distracting.
I've got the exact same note.
Yeah.
I don't know why they've done that.
Yeah, I don't think it adds anything to the track.
No, it's too low in the mix for me to be able to hear what they're saying, but it's too high in the mix for me to not hear it instead of everything else.
Yeah, the tune itself is kind of this kind of slightly dark indie plodder kind of thing, you know. It's got the kind of bit of distortion in there, kind of the open notes. Yeah. It's quite a sparse song.
A bit shoegazy in parts.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit shoegazy. I think that's a good, I have a very fair point. Song's kind of about a Lothario, isn't it? Like a shagger.
Yeah, no, a bit of a lad.
Yeah.
Because Spring-Heeled Jim lives to love, now kissing with his mouth full, and his eyes on some other fool. So many women, his head should be spinning. Yeah,
so it's kind of lamenting his lack of depth, his inability to, kind of stop and experience love. I feel like.
Well, it is because by the end of the song, in the final verse, there's a regret where he says, "No, until Jim feels the chill, oh, where did all the time go?" And so there is a regret to that. But I felt that for the first bit of the song, I think it was classic Morrissey doing his thing, going, oh, these guys get all the women, I get none of the women. I wish I was a bit more of a lad. I wish the women liked me and I could be more of a rogue.
I don't think it's women that he's that interested in, is that really?
Well, he always played around with that as well.
Well, yeah, of course he did. And, I don't know. Again, there's little moments of vocal phrase on here that are quite nice, but the overall mix of it just doesn't sit right. And for me, I can't grip hold of anything. This sample is so distracting to me. Why is it here now?
Totally agree with you. That should be taken out. It should be there at the beginning if you want to have a little soundbite. Yeah. And then at the very end, where it says about they took him away and then he's called him mental. Fine, keep that in, no problem. But there's no reason for it to be constantly going.
No, it just seems like an engineer with an idea that they've gone, oh, let's try this, and and it's just not stood the test of time, really. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, Steve Lillywhite was the producer on this, and I think it was the first time he'd done a Morrissey album. Okay. The previous one had been done by Mark Ronson of David Bowie's band. It was more glam rock. Steve Lillywhite.
Mark Ronson?
John Ronson.
John Ronson,
So Steve Lillywhite is a new producer, and maybe they're trying shit. I do not know, but this one, that's a bad idea to me. I like this bit. I like the la 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 bit. I actually really like the there's a full minute of this because again, I think this is a great tune. I really like this.
Not for me, mate.
Yeah, no, really like this one. It grew on me with increased listens. At the beginning, I just thought that's all right, but after a few, I really enjoy this.
Now, I found that almost painful being on.
Because of the samples.
And because I felt like the tune was kind of struggling through it. And not for me. Entirely cold, that one.
I like that. The other thing I picked out was because of the way that the verses go when it's starting out going, oh yeah, this Spring Heel Jim, he's a bit of a lad. He's getting all the women, he's shagging around, and everyone's fucking loving Jim.
Yeah.
Then it gets to the end, and he goes, oh, where's the time gone? And he's got this empty life or whatever. That ties into the kind of the growing up and the maturity thing that I think previously Morrissey wouldn't have gone to that final verse and gone, oh, maybe this isn't what I want it to be. Yeah. He would have left it as, I wish I was more like Spring Heel Jim. Well, no, it's a shame you didn't like that, because I really enjoyed that as well.
Oh, well, good for you. So you're
like
2 for 2, man.
I am, mate.
Okay,
I really am.
This is a good one for you so far.
Surprised, but yep, happy days.
Well, let's do track number 3. This one's called Billy Budd. Let's see if this turns things around for me.
Okay.
Funnily enough, you mentioned U2, Steve Lillywhite. This sounds almost like this era of U2.
God, it does.
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought of that, but that sounds very U2, that guitar. Right. Oh, more upbeat anyway.
But then it kind of progresses in, and it turns into this kind of like fuzzy wah indie jangle.
Sure.
Right? And look, unfortunately, that is a particular bugbear of mine.
Yeah, that's the opposite of what you want.
Yeah, that kind of... I mean, it might as well be Sultans of fucking Ping. Do you know what I mean? It really might. I really viscerally hate this tune.
Do you?
I really hate this tune. Right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Lyrically, I think there's a lot of interesting stuff in there, because obviously he's referring to this Herman Melville novella that
I'd never heard of it.
I've picked that up from other people's interpretations. I'm not familiar with it, but this kind of it's an allegory for Morrissey struggles with his sexuality, and I think there's some interesting stuff in there. And obviously, whilst I've got a huge amount of empathy for the experience of a closeted, insular young man in a rough northern society in the 1980s.
Yeah, sure.
I also, I don't know whether it's my own prejudice or what, I find myself unable to care that much about Morrissey specifically.
Okay, well, that's the thing, yeah. It's him rather than that type.
Yeah, man.
Right, yeah.
How are you feeling about this?
I really like it.
I thought you might.
I do. I really like it. It's a very obvious guitar line. It's nothing interesting or special going on, but I think it does it very well, and I think it's quite catchy. It's absolutely up my street, because this indie stuff back then, I was listening to that.
Yeah.
And lyrically, it is interesting. The novella that we said, it's called Handsome Sailor, and Billy Budd, the title character of this song, is a sailor so handsome that another officer on the ship that they're on accuses him of a crime because he's jealous and confused about his feelings, one would imagine. So we get Billy Budd punches him in the face, kills him, and is sentenced to death.
Yeah.
And so Morrissey's using the story and the name as an allegory of what it's like to be a gay man in a gay couple and being mocked for it and derided and being an outcast.
I think he's also using that character as an avatar for individuals he's had affection for, rather than just being specifically about the couple in general. It feels more personal to me. It feels this is because he's talking. I would die for you. Essentially,
yes.
What he's saying. Just to be clear, I don't like the song at all. Unfortunately, the song was dead on arrival for me just because of the musical choices.
Yeah, sure.
But I want to be fair. I do think Morrissey is a very interesting lyricist. What I like from an interesting lyricist, like when we talk about Nirvana, when we talk about, I get an empathy of, I know exactly how you feel because I felt this way, and you're expressing something that I feel myself, and I never really feel that with Morrissey, or often with Morrissey.
Well, it's like whenever we did the Tori Amos episode, you said there were songs on there, even though we couldn't really get what she was saying.
Yeah.
It evoked something in you.
Yeah,
that you're I can see the relationship here between me and that as well.
Morrissey's interesting because he is undoubtedly a great lyricist, and a lot of it connects with me intellectually, and I'm interested by it. It will make me think about things.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time, it doesn't connect with me emotionally.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think that's the thing, that the very best bits and pieces of the Smiths, it does.
Right.
But to me, there's a disconnect there. As much as I don't like this song, credit where credit's due to. I don't want to say that there's nothing in it of worth.
Yeah, of course.
Because, obviously I do think there's some interesting stuff going on in the lyrics, but for its primary feature, a piece of music, it just doesn't do it for me.
Well, that's what we're judging this on. That's the thing, I've got ones that the music either does or doesn't for me, no matter what's going on in the lyrics.
Yeah.
If the music doesn't do it for me, I'm like, nah, I can't give this one a pass.
Sure.
But I do give this one a pass because I'm okay with this sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, it's in your wheelhouse, man.
It is, exactly.
All right, so we're going to do
track number 4.
Track number 4, which is "Hold On to Your Friends."
And this was the second single released from the album in June of '94. It only got to number 47,
right?
Which must have been a slap in the face. You know, after a number 1 album, and the next single, or the first single, which is we're coming on to later, which was top 10.
Yeah.
This one only got number 47, and then, like I say, the third single didn't even chart. But yeah, I think it's quite a straightforward song about not being a dick to the people who care for you.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first tune on this album that I kind of feel anything for.
Okay, yeah.
So, you know, as you say, lyrically, it's a kind of a warning to a friendship, like, you know, the bonds of that relationship are being stretched.
Yeah.
Although, as a side note, I do suspect that maintaining a relationship with Morrissey is like trying to pass exams in a subject that you haven't studied for.
Absolutely, yeah.
I can't imagine that's a straightforward friendship to maintain.
God, no. No, that's the thing. And it feels too specific as well for Morrissey just to be vaguely writing about. You know, in general, hold on to your friends. This has got to be about his relationships with his mates.
Yeah, and there's this thing. It's like you only phone me when you're feeling down. You don't call me up when you're feeling happy. It's like, if I felt rarely happy, if I suffered with like a lot of depression, like when I had that happiness, I don't think Morrissey's the person I'd be phoning. I'd be like, I want to hold on to this happiness. Yeah. Well, phone to old fucking Stephen Patrick. How are things going, Morrissey? Well, yeah, it's the Blacks. Anyway, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, he's notoriously abrasive.
Yeah.
Right. And if you asked any of the other members of the Smiths, you know, they would attest to him being the dick in the friendship relationship, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what went on in the rest. You know, of course, there's two sides to every story, etc., etc. But it's always going to be Morrissey being the difficult one in your mates group, I'd have thought.
Oh, yeah. So this one, it's kind of the first one on the album that hasn't kind of rankled me in some way. I'm not in love with it.
Okay, so what are you thinking about the music? If you take the lyrical content out of it, what do you think about the tune?
Well, I think the tune, you know, it's quite a light, languid tune.
Yeah,
It does this little bit here that we're listening to here, which I think is quite nice. It kind of skips along. I think it serves a better foil to his voice than some of the other stuff that's going.
Okay.
Like the two parts of the music and the lyrics feel more congruous than.
I think his vocals really fit this song. I think that the bit where he's going up and down, and the descending notes in the chorus, I think this is fucking brilliant.
Yeah, I really like this one. I say I really like this one. I like this one.
Right, sure. I think the way there's some bits in the lines, just the cadence where he's got the lines of "give up your job, squander your cash, be rash, smoke and explode, sell all of your clothes." I think those are lovely little couplets.
Yeah, sell all of your and the way it's
really nicely done.
I agree.
There's the playfulness of that. This guitar here, where it's a bit more kind of ballsy. Really like this.
It kind of sounds a little bit like a sixth form production of West Side Story.
Fine with that. Totally fine with that. Yeah. But it's a solid guitar going underneath it, underpinning the whole thing.
Yeah, and it's got some drama to it. It's got it's got a little bit of theatre. It's got
sure.
You know, again, you can feel. Even though it's so dour, you can feel the glam rock that he loved.
Oh, definitely.
You can feel that in there, you know. You can feel a bit of Jesus Christ Superstar in it almost.
Always a good thing.
All of that, yeah. So, for me, I would say a correct choice for a single.
Yeah.
And, the first one there that I can say didn't annoy me.
Okay, good. Oh, I'm glad, because I think that's just brilliant. I'm really surprised at how much I'm enjoying this album so far.
Well,
I did not think I was going to.
I mean, I'm surprised as much that you're enjoying it as much as you are, because that's 4 for 4.
That is literally, honest to God, everyone.
Of an 11-track album.
I know.
Wow.
What the fuck? I was so dubious going into a Morrissey solo album that I'd never heard before.
Oh, God. It's going to cost you a few quid on Discogs, mate.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's the first 4 tracks.
Yeah.
So we're about a third of the way through. Let's take a wee break and do some albums.
Yes.
Let's do the top 10 in the week that this was number 1. And it was in the week of March the 20th, 1994.
Sure.
But if you listen to the last episode that we did, basically between Enigma and this album, Mariah Carey was number 1 again for 4 weeks. So in the last episode, I took 2 weeks of that to see what else was going on. In this episode, I've taken the 2 weeks running up to Morrissey as well as the week of Morrissey.
Yeah.
But for the top 10, we'll do the actual week of. Number 10 is Capella with You Got to Know, the album. What the fuck? There was an album? Who put? I mean, obviously, we've had to do 2 Unlimited, and we're going to have to again. But who buys Eurodance albums?
I mean, idiots.
Really weird to me. Number 9, and this is just after our Enigma episode last week. Number 9 in the charts is the Monks Chorus Silos with Conto Gregoriano.
I mean, Enigma,
Honest
you've got
Jesus.
a lot to fucking answer
Really?
for.
Oh,
Top
mate.
10, though, what programme must have that been on?
Oh, my God. Number 9 in the charts. And that is purely some coked up board meeting going, can we make an entire album of this? Because people like Enigma. And someone has scraped together some recordings of monks chanting and put it on a CD. Bullshit. Number 8 is Level 42 with an album called Forever Now, which is not a best of.
Really?
So it's 1994.
Okay.
And Level 42 have got a top 10
It's
album.
1994. Do you know where your level 42? Do you know where your bass player is?
Weird, man.
Oh,
Top
my-
10 album.
I mean, not a clue, mate. Not a clue.
No, exactly. I couldn't tell you what singles were off that, obviously. No. Number 7, Bjork debut, which we've seen before. Number 6 is a new entry, and it's the Cranberries. Everybody else is doing it, so why can't we?
Okay.
And that is going to be number 1, but not until June of 1994. So we are going to have to cover it,
Yep.
but it's not for another 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
But it's gone top 10 already. Number 5, M People, Elegant Slumming.
Cunts.
Yep. Number 4, Enigma, Cross of Changes. Number 3, and this is another one that we are going to have to do later on in this season, Ace of Base with Happy Nation.
Oh, wicked. Can we not do it? Because now we know they're racist.
No, so that's number 3.
Right.
And then number
Happy
2.
Nation. I mean,
Happy
the clue was
Nation.
there, wasn't
Really
it?
is.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Mariah Carey, Music Box. And like I said, it had just been number 1 for 4 more weeks.
Yeah, of course.
So that's the top 10. A couple of new entries, a couple of things that we're going to have to look at down the line.
If you're new to the podcast, we have got an episode on Music Box. Go back and check it out.
One of our biggest downloads, the Mariah Carey one. Yeah, loads of Mariah fans. And it's a good one. It's
Rhymes
a good
still
episode.
vary and carry like Mariah.
Mariah. Oh, what's that shit joke?
Buster Rhymes with Mariah Carey. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, that's it. Lovely. Okay, other albums released in these kind of 3 weeks that we're looking at. And this is a fucking ripe 3 weeks. This is a lot of stuff. So let's crack on. Went in at number 11, Aphex Twin, Selected Ambient Works Volume 2.
Okay.
Number 11.
Well,
For what is going to be ostensibly nonsense.
do you know what? Actually, Selected Ambient Works is... If,
Volume 2.
I mean, it's a good record, and it's not really an ambient record. Of the Aphex Twin stuff that I've heard, it's the most palatable.
Right, fine.
But, again, I mean, Jesus Christ, we've got so many friends that just love Aphex Twin dearly.
Oh, yeah, because they do so many drugs. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, there is a bit of a correlation. It's got to be
It's
said.
strange that. Gangstar released Hard to Earn, which
Yeah.
went to 29, which is
That's-
decent, I think, for a Gangstar album.
It's a great record, man. It's the
It
year they played Reading Festival.
Oh, they did. I saw them at that festival. That the one with the goats as well.
Yeah.
There was a day maybe of goats and Gangstar.
There's a Gangstar t-shirt they had on sale at Reading.
Oh, yeah.
And in my mind, I still go, oh, I wish I'd bought that as if I'd still have it.
I mean, you say, would you still have it? I've still got my therapy t-shirt I bought at Reading 92.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Does it fit?
Fuck no.
Exactly.
Absolutely not.
I love the refuse to throw it away.
No, I've got so many nice band t-shirts from the past 30 years that I will never fit into again.
Nah.
But they're in my room.
Sell them.
No.
Okay.
Insane Clown Posse released Ringmaster. So that was happening back in 94. Bit of ICP.
I mean, which card was that dropping?
Fuck's sake. Nailbomb released Point Blank.
I mean, what a record that is.
Within it, number 62.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't listened to that record in quite a while, but I just remember it just being
It's just
brutally visceral.
hard. Yeah, I mean, if anyone doesn't know Nailbomb, it is Alex from Fudge Tunnel.
Yeah. Is it Newport?
Alex Newport, thank you, from Fudge Tunnel, and Max Cavalera from Sepultura.
Yeah. And it was like kind of
others.
Industrial grind blasts.
Just hard.
Yeah, it was.
I bought that at the time because I loved Fudge Tunnel, and I was getting into Sepultura. I liked a couple of Sepultura songs, so I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll buy this. I've only listened to it a few times, but it's now one of my most kind of sellable vinyl albums.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I could get probably 150 quid for that.
Okay, no.
On the flip side, we've got Vanilla Ice with an album called Mind Blown.
Oh,
Never heard of it.
No.
Main Source released Fuck What You Think, which is a nice radio-friendly album title. St. Etienne released Tiger Bay, and we've seen the single off that. I think it's a bit wishy-washy, that album. Not the sort of St. Etienne I wanted at that point. Counting Crows released August and Everything After.
Yeah, I mean, some people absolutely love that band. I've never given a shit.
No, what was the one big song? Mr. Jones? No.
Yeah.
Mr. Jones?
Mr.
Didn't like it.
Jones. It's that voice. I can't deal with that voice,
It was
man.
the tune. I just thought it was dull. Blue Aeroplanes released Life Model, which is past me caring about Blue Aeroplanes. Spiral Carpets released Devil Hopping, which went in at number 10. So they were still, selling records, but this was kind of the end section of Spiral Carpets. Beck released Mellow Gold, which went into the charts at number 41. So it's another one that must have sold on the back of whenever Loser comes out, and sold more and more and more. I bought that relatively soon after it came out, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Mellow Gold being like an indie buzz, and then Odelay was the slightly, we started to get the Radio 1 played. And
very much.
Devil's Haircut on Radio 1.
Huge.
And
Where It's
two
At.
turntables,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Where It's At, indeed.
Motley Crue released their self-titled album, which went in at number 17.
Okay, I don't remember.
Motley Crue in 94?
Motley Crue. So this is, I feel like this is, because was Generation Swine the one that had John Corabi on it?
You're asking the wrong person.
Yeah, I've got a feeling this was like the last shit one with Vince Neil before they did the other one.
I see.
I think that's
maybe
right.
so. I mean, I remember I was reading some article many, many years ago, and the point they were trying to make was that whenever a band releases a self-titled album, especially if it's not their first one, essentially what the band is saying is, this is what we mean to be. This is kind of our apex. And so whenever, I think the article was around the Charlatans when they released the Charlatans album, and I think it's one of their best albums easily. And it was like, okay, we have now decided what we are. This is us. Surely Motley Crue were not doing that in 1994. They were not listening to what they just recorded and gone, we have never been better than this.
I mean, you've got to bear in mind that this is, like, the last record they put out before this was 5 years ago.
Jesus, right.
So they put out Dr. Feelgood, and they were the biggest band in the world.
That was a hit.
Yeah, Dr. Feelgood comes out, it's number one everywhere.
Right. And then
this comes out.
Then the music business completely changes.
Exactly. And this is on, the highest that one got in the States was 7.
Oh, God. For their home crowd.
There was spent force to a degree at that point, but, they did that thing where they got big enough that they will always have an audience.
Oh, they still play massive stadiums today because they've got a greatest hit set. Yeah, that's fine. No one wants to hear the stuff from the self-titled album from 1994, I'm sure.
I mean, fucking hell, no one wants to hear Vince Neil.
Well, there's that. All right. Carter, the Unstoppable Sex Machine, released Starry-Eyed and Bollock Naked, which only went in at number 22, which is a bit of a drop after the previous one, which was number 1. I've never heard that album.
No, I've not either.
I can't really remember the singles off it. One of the singles in the singles list, which I do remember, but it wasn't a big one. Okay. So I think this is kind of in the same way as the Spiral Carpets, were like, this is the tail end. Yeah. It's close to that with Carter. The Divine Comedy released Promenade, and this is before I remember Divine Comedy being a thing in 94, so I wasn't really aware of them until probably 2 years later.
Yeah, that's kind of where I would put them.
Infectious Grooves released Groove Family Psycho.
Yep.
And I totally missed them at the time.
I
completely passed me by.
I think that's the third one, is it?
Oh, God knows. It's definitely not their debut, I know that. But
I know Plague That Makes a Mooty Move.
Right.
And Sarsipius' Arc. I think those are the two I know.
That might have been before it as well. So, maybe this is the third. Either way, I wasn't aware of this one bit.
At this point, funk metal was a little bit spent as well, wasn't it?
I mean, It wasn't going away because Red Hot Chili Peppers were still riding the wave.
Well, they were, but you look at the bands that made that sound.
No, Faith No More weren't doing that anymore.
You've got Faith No More, you've got Red Hot Chili Peppers, and neither of them are really doing that anymore. Like One Hot Millet's not really a funk album, is it, per se? It's got funky elements in it.
Yeah, sure. Gwar released This Toilet Earth, which is a great album title.
I mean, yeah, it is.
Have you ever seen Gwar live?
Yeah, I've seen Gwar live.
I've not.
Yeah, I mean, it's
stupid.
It's fun for a few songs.
Sure.
Yeah. It's exactly what you'd expect it to be,
Yeah. When you say songs, are any of them songs? Because again, I don't know if I could name you a Gwar song.
You're watching prosthetics explode. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it is pantomime. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. A puppet show.
Fine. In Flames, their debut Lunar Strain came out in '94. I wasn't aware of In Flames at that point.
I just don't really give a fuck about In Flames.
Oh,
that's
really,
the main problem. It's death metal per se. I have a limited palette for.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I think there are bands that do it really, really well. I like that kind of like melodic death metal sound that Carcass do.
Right.
I really like Carcass. I hear other bits and pieces of death from here and there that I'm like, oh, that's brilliant. I like the technicality of it. But particularly where I am in my life now, the amount of times I'm going to sit down and go, I'm just going to put some death metal on, right?
Right.
And if I do, it's not going to be In Flames. And I've got nothing against them. They do what they do really, really well.
They've got a lot of fans.
But it's just, I'm not deep enough in that groove that I give a shit.
Fine. The Charlatans released Up to Our Hips, which went in at number 8. And I remember that coming out. I was still interested in the Charlatans at that point.
Right.
I thought it wasn't a brilliant album. I think it's good. I think they had been better and they would be better again as it turned out.
That kind of reflects the fact that we've done a Charlatans album and we'll have to do a Charlatans album again.
Absolutely, yeah. No, their debut we did, and I think we're going to have to do their 5th one, but this is their 3rd.
Did you hear me, though, just try and refer to their chart position as if it was some kind of mark of quality, despite everything we've learned over the last
Chakademus and Pliers. Smash.
Oh, dear.
Smash released their self-titled. Remember Smash?
Yeah, they were from Bedford, weren't they?
I think they were as well.
Yeah.
That's the one song, Lady Love Your Cunt.
Yeah. I remember people,
a load of press.
A load of people in sixth form being absolutely fucking mad about them.
Yeah.
And I think it's because they were drinking in like the Bear in Bedford, which was our mate Gary's dad's pub.
Yeah, Gary.
And meeting people that are in the band and getting that kind of thing that you do where you got to meet the band, you hang out, and so they're the best band in the world.
Oh, yeah, you tell everyone.
Despite all evidence to the contrary.
Yeah.
But there was that minute though, weren't there, where like the Enemy and Melody Maker, there was this new Agit scene, like the new wave.
It was the new wave of new wave.
Yeah, new wave of new wave, and it was like Smash, These Animal Men, and like all of those bands, and they were like, oh, this thing's
Dolls, maybe.
Yeah, this thing's all going to be happening, and
Oh yeah, whatever scene. No, totally not. But then there are 3 albums that were released in these 3-week period. First of all, Pantera, Far Beyond Driven, which went in at number 3. Number fucking 3 for a Pantera album, which shows a huge fan base.
Well, I mean, they'd been touring like fuck, man. And, they were, at that point, like Vulgar Display of Power was kind of a benchmark in heavy music.
Very much so.
It was, for that new American sound of groove metal. So, obviously thrash had been the dominant force in metal for a long time. Metallica had stopped doing thrash, and now there was this kind of there was a bit more feel to it, and it was just crushingly heavy.
That's the thing.
As a result of it.
But massive riffs.
Yeah, and you had the fact that, Dimebag was one of those guitarists, that were just coming on every few years that were just redefining sounds and things that were possible, and people just zoned into that, and
it worked. It absolutely worked.
Well, that was exactly it, man. I absolutely loved Pantera at this point in my life.
Yep.
I still think those albums are absolutely fantastic.
What do you think of Far Beyond Driven as compared to the previous 2?
Far Beyond Driven is my favourite Pantera album.
I assumed that wasn't the kind of the norm for Pantera fans. I think it's their best album.
Oh, it's their best album.
But I assumed people would be like, oh no, they were starting to sell out at that point.
I don't think Pantera ever wanted to be anything other than a big metal band. It's just the best formed of their records. It's the best produced. It's the best songwriting.
Sounds brilliant. Production that's amazing.
I mean, it sounds so good. Yeah. It really does. It's
you can hear every bit, but it's fucking heavy.
Just like I'm Broken, 5 Minutes Alone.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, even that cover of Planet Caravan.
No, you've gone too far. Didn't like
See,
that.
I like the cover of Planet Caravan. Right. I like everything on that
Shedding
record.
Skins on that one as well, isn't it? Brilliant.
It's an excellent album. And after that point, I think it was a law of diminishing returns.
Yes. Yeah, there were high points on the following albums. But yeah, it wasn't ever that good again, was it?
Nah.
And then the last two albums, both released on the same day, are Soundgarden's Super Unknown, which went in at 4, and Nine Inch Nails' Downward Spiral, which went in at 9.
Wow.
So again, 2 more top 10 albums.
Yeah, I mean,
Soundgarden, Nine Inch Nails.
Nine Inch Nails, Downward Spiral, Soundgarden, Super Unknown, 2 albums, which I would say
big albums.
Yeah, enormous albums in my life. I think both albums which kind of deserve a little more
further
conversation.
looking. Well, yeah, that's what we were thinking. They are big enough, but never number one. So
yeah, I mean, should we just throw this in now, I guess?
Yeah, we'll do it. Fine.
Because the thing is, like, you know, our next episode...
Yes, well, this is episode 99.
This is episode
Morrissey
99.
Is 99.
I know. And so, like, we would be doing a Pink Floyd album.
Yeah, for number 100.
For number 100. And, you know, it may or may not be good, but I think we wanted to mark it with something that we knew would be able to have a conversation about.
Yeah.
We were debating Downward Spiral or Super Unknown.
Yeah.
I just said, fuck it, we're doing both.
Doing both.
So yeah, next 2 episodes. We haven't decided which one's which yet.
Yeah, we'll do it in some route.
But yeah, so next 2 albums will be Downward Spiral, Nine Inch Nails, and Super Unknown by Soundgarden. So look forward to those.
There you go. All right, well, look, there's a load of albums. That's a 3-week period.
Yeah.
And that's a fucking load of albums.
That is a lot of albums, man. What a fertile soil we are planting.
Isn't it just? Okay, but let's get into the second bit of Morrissey's Vauxhall and I.
The next one is the first single, which is The More You Ignore Me.
The Closer I Get. Okay, so this is track number 5 on the album.
Doesn't that just sound like every Oasis song?
That does a bit, yeah. Pre-Oasis. Free, it's whatever. Yeah.
It's that Phil as well.
And this was, like you said, the first single. It was released in March '94, and this went to number 8. So this was the biggest hit, and it was also a decently sized hit in America this year. I remember this from the time, even though I didn't pay it much attention. And the thing is, I was DJing in indie clubs by this point.
Yeah.
I was only starting off in the ones. I would end up doing a lot more.
Yeah.
But I was starting to DJ in indie clubs. And I don't remember ever playing this.
No.
And I don't remember people asking me for it. But I remember it being around. And I can see why this is a single.
I can, yeah.
It's radio friendly. It's a straightforward one. It's not like Spring Hill Gym or something.
Yeah, you know, it's more poppy than anything else we've had so far, I would say.
Yep.
I've written broadly inoffensive.
Oh, I see.
A little bit forgettable.
Yeah.
Obviously, lyrically, it's, you know, we're in hugely self-absorbed territory, aren't we? We're in, you know, you're after me, aren't you? It's a little bit creepy, actually. A little bit predatory towards the end.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, let me in. The closer I get. You're asking for it. Do you know what I mean?
But there's definitely that side, because I'd never thought about the lyrics to this. I kind of assumed it was one of those clever wordplay titles that you come up with a title first and you work backwards. So Morrissey presumably does that. And absolutely, it's very likely that it's... I know you say that you're not interested, but I'm going to keep trying, and you can try ignore me, but you know you're thinking about me.
Yeah.
And there's definitely that, but I also think there's an element of Morrissey and his critics and the whole living rent-free in their head. And you can try and ignore me, but I know you're fucking thinking about me. And you're trying to say you don't give a shit about Morrissey and he's past it or whatever, but you're still fucking thinking about Morrissey. I think there's some of that in there too.
I think that's entirely possible. Not a lot to say about this one. I think it's absolutely fine.
Right. I didn't particularly like this at the time because I do remember it being around, but listening to it now, I like it a lot more.
Okay.
I don't think it's the best one on here at all. I think it's a lot more sort of straight down the line indie.
Oh, it is. It's you know, it's got the edges off of it. It's like okay.
Sure.
This is to me the epitome of a mixed alternative pub jukebox track that's on in the background. This is what I expect to be hearing in a certain type of venue.
Fair enough. All right, yeah, that's fine. It's classic. It sounds like classic Morrissey to me. It's very definitely him. It probably harks a bit more back to the Smiths sound than what we've heard previously on this album. My main criticism of it, and I don't think it's a fair criticism, but it sounds like it's behind. It's very obviously behind the zeitgeist at this point, because we are seeing elsewhere. We're seeing nascent Britpop coming into effect. Sure. We've had Suede the previous year with their album. We've got Pulp coming through. Blur have done their Modern Life is Rubbish album. Elastica, coming through. This sort of so Britpop is starting to happen properly, and we'll see it absolutely explode. And this sounds behind the curve to me.
Without a doubt.
But for me, I do think it's a good tune. I think it's got a really good chorus.
My question is this, right? Yeah. Lead single off of one of his more popular albums. Yeah. Does that song earn its place in the Morrissey Greatest Hits album?
Oh, I'd say absolutely. I'd say absolutely it does, yes.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know if I do. I feel it's almost a little bit too
anonymous. Morrissey solo?
Pardon?
You're talking Morrissey solo?
Yeah, I guess the Pantheon, but yeah.
Oh, I see. Oh, right. No, it doesn't hold up against the big Smith songs at all. If you're putting together a 15-track album, no, it's not going to be there. You're not going to knock a Smith song off it for that. But in terms of Morrissey songs, yes, absolutely.
Okay, fair enough.
The only other ones I knew at this point, really knew, were because usually on side 4 of one of the Now albums, there would be the current Morrissey single. And so I knew Every Day's Like Sunday and Last of the Famous International Playboys.
Yeah, Last of the Famous.
Yeah, so I knew those from just kind of, it was on next to some other indie tunes on the indie side of Now 8 or whatever it is. And I think it holds up to those in terms of big Morrissey singles. I think it's very good. I think the chorus lifts it. I think the verses are fine. The chorus is better.
Cool.
All right, so that's number 5. So number 6.
Why don't you find out for yourself?
All right.
Okay, so kind of electric acoustic indie plodder.
Yes.
Kind of Delamitri-esque.
That's very, very on point. Yeah.
Bit of a lyrically... It's kind of a bitter screed against the music industry.
Absolutely, I'm very bitter indeed.
It's like someone said to him, "Oh, why are you like this? You've got all that." Goes, "Well, why don't you try it for yourself? Why don't you come and be in this industry full of these assholes, full of these backbiters?" Yeah, it's basically it's a shit business, the musical.
Oh, yeah, that's fair, indeed. Yeah. I mean, I think as well is him talking to a young up-and-coming star who's like, oh, it must be brilliant to be in the music business. I can't wait for all this fame and fortune and all the stuff that goes along with it. And him going, you just fucking wait. Yeah. You wait and see what the business bit of music business means. And I can't fault the logic in what he's saying, having been in some meetings in the music business where they're just full of marketing people and there's nothing to do with music going on at all. I get it. It's just, all right, how many units can we shift in the Northwest? Yeah. This sort of bullshit.
I get it. It's, it's anything as a product. It's, marketing as a product.
Yeah.
But in theory, it assumes that the function of that part of a business, though, is to assume that the other people whose job it is to ensure the product is good have done their job properly, though, isn't it?
No, of course. Yeah.
Which is, to a degree. But, he has a bit of a pop at Acid House and Manchester in here, doesn't he?
I mean, he's famously, whenever it was happening, the Summer of Love was happening, he was famously, this is all shit. Yeah. And he got, kind of a bit of a kicking in the press for that because everyone was into it and he was going, well, no, this is awful. Yeah. But there are some good lines in this. He does have some good lines and some good points. Some men here, they have a special interest in your career. They want to help you grow and then siphon all your dough. Yeah. That is what happens. You sell stuff so that someone else makes money off it. Yeah, and, I read that more as almost he was, suggesting shady kind of siphon. Very possibly too. Yeah. It feels to me, there's he's either got a naive impression of what it is he's involved in, because I would imagine he would like to be in a kind of very romanticised world where everything exists for its own sake. Oh sure, and you can make £1 million for poetry. Yeah, right. But
I would imagine that his perceived slights are higher than somebody else in his position.
Absolutely, and I would say the kind of the backstories behind whatever he classes as backstabbing and that sort of thing, he's probably got a fucking hand in that, because people are like, oh, this guy's an arsehole.
Look, man, I think the point is, if you're a certain level of narcissistic, then other people doing things which are in their interests and not necessarily diametrically against your interests, but not exactly what you want, can be perceived as slights.
Absolutely.
And if you are that self-interested and that convinced that you are right and you are the kind of this special thing, then no matter what people do around you, you don't see the concessions that they make. You just see, this isn't exactly what I wanted.
Oh, you want me to change my outfit for this photo shoot? Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. It's and there's a lot of that through these lyrics, that kind of, that kind of very one track, me. You can almost route a path to go, oh, I can kind of see from this stuff how you end up believing this stuff that you believe now. Yeah. Because it's a constant state of victimhood where you're not at fault. No matter how many times he goes, well, I know what my problems are. I know what I've done. I know. It's like, you never mention them though, do you? You don't talk about them. You always just go, well, I know what I've done wrong, but here's what everybody else has.
And you never try and fix them.
Yeah.
You never go, I've done this wrong, so I'm going to start to do this instead.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll hold this conversation because there's a bit more of this. But for me, I find the tone of the lyrics, I think he's got some good points. It feels a little bit Partridge to me in places.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Not a big fan of the tune.
Oh, I think it's dull as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's a very, very boring song.
Good.
I read somewhere that the initial version of the song was more, and in quotations, a heavier rock arrangement. And so I looked it up, because there's a demo version on YouTube, and I looked that up, and I think it's better. I do think it's better than this, because I think this is kind of Billy Bragg B-side nonsense. But it's still not a great song, even with the...
Billy Bragg B-side bollocks would have been better.
That's true enough. Lovely alliteration. So the original version is better, but still not earth-shattering or anything like that. I think this is just a bit weak. Nothing to it. Okay,
well, the next one is called I Am Hated for Loving.
Yeah, I'm not keen on this from the very beginning. This sounds very limp.
Yeah. I mean, this one, of all of the songs on here, this is kind of one of the ones that boils my piss the most.
Oh, right.
Because of this, as we were starting to talk about then, this I'm hated for loving. This self-obsessed fucking thin-skinned whining.
Yeah.
But you just want to just fucking shake it and be like, like say you can see how this turns into blame for for other people are responsible for all the things that you perceive are wrong, right?
Yep.
I was like, mate, get yourself some fucking citalopram, Speak to a therapist, right? Do all of the work that human beings have to do to fucking function in the world. Right?
Yeah.
And just fucking stop thinking that this is just because you are some fucking special jewel that the world doesn't understand. You're like everybody else, you're just a bit fucked up.
Oh, totally.
Deal with it.
Yeah, but he is so solipsistic that he's never going to see that. It's pure martyrdom.
What a lovely word to use.
It's pure martyrdom going on. The lines, I am falling with no one to catch me. I still don't belong to anyone. It's like, come on, man. It's proper poor me.
Yeah. This is proper kind of proper puberty poetry.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and in terms of the tune, this is album filler in extremis.
Man, I put musically, it's dinner jazz indie.
Right. Yeah. I don't get this one, and it just. Absolutely, there's about a minute's worth of it just petering out at the end.
For 3 minutes 40 of everyone's time he's wasted.
We don't need this one at all.
I really don't like it. I really hate this one.
Right, yeah, no, I'm fine. This should have been left off.
Yeah.
Don't care, nothing else to say about it.
Agree.
Right. Do one more then?
Yes, indeed.
Number 8 is Lifeguard Sleeping, Girl Drowning.
And credit where it's due. That's a fucking brilliant song title.
Good one for charades at Christmas.
Yeah. And where are we going here?
This is a weird one, isn't it?
I mean...
What's happening? Some kind of woodwind.
Is there an accordion in here somewhere?
It sounds like there's the Julian pipes or something that Sting used on that
Yes.
album. Yeah. And then,
I mean,
what's this vocal going on?
yeah, because I had to look up and go, oh, is there a guest vocalist?
Well,
on
exactly. I
this?
was like, is this him? Yeah.
Mate, if this feels like a parody
Right.
to me.
Oh, I see.
It feels like someone's taking the piss out of something.
Right.
You know, obviously it's got that little bit of that Beatles kind of
Yeah.
worship
Fine. Sure.
to it. But for me, it's a perfume advert of a song.
A perfume advert.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Just all like kind of high style and no substance.
Oh, I see. Well, it's bizarre and full of affectation, which, you know, fucking hell, it's Morrissey.
Yeah,
of course it is. But I don't think it works.
It's so overly melodramatic that it's impossible to take seriously on any level, I think.
Yeah, indeed. And I suspect he does want us to, because it's called Lifeguard Sleeping Girl Drowning. He wants us to go, what's happening here? What's this about? And on the surface, it's about a woman who swims out too far at sea and drowns. She's trying to attract attention, but isn't noticed by anybody, and so she dies. Which presumably is an allegory for maybe women in general, but when they're trying to be seen in society and they're effectively ignored and they go under the water and they have to be happy just, being underneath everything else. Or I also thought that it might be a very specific relationship with daughter-father, where a little girl is trying to impress her dad, who doesn't give a shit. I got
possibly.
that out of it.
I mean, I thought, you know, the counterpoint is equally important. The lifeguard sleeping. It's like when people do things that they shouldn't do.
Oh right, yeah.
Tragedy happens, and who's to blame?
Right, sure.
There's that in there, isn't there?
Oh, definitely.
As my daughter would say, though, no thank.
No thank. I see. Right.
No thank.
Right.
3 minutes 39 felt more like 10 minutes.
This drags.
Yeah.
It does drag. I don't like the way it sounds, and I can't give it a pass because the tune isn't strong enough.
Yeah,
There's not much going on.
I just can't take it seriously. I don't know what it is.
All right. Okay, well, fine. Last couple have not been good. I mean, I think that The More You Ignore Me, The Closer I Get is very good. But then the three after that we've just done, I think, are pretty subpar. So it's a disappointing middle section for me.
Yeah, I think fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I'm guessing we've got a few singles to
We've
talk
got
about.
a fucking ton of singles, my friend. Right.
Let's fucking have
Get
them,
ready
then.
for this shit. So we'll start with the top 10. And at number 10, I put this in as one to potentially guess, even though we've done the album that it was on, I think, about 2 seasons ago. But this is finally coming out as a single. It's 9 minutes 50 long. And it got to number 10 in the charts.
Okay.
I imagine there's a radio edit, but who knows. Right, let's see if when he comes in here. Is it ringing any bells at all?
It is.
Oh,
yeah.
is it? Oh, because I seem to remember whenever we did it on the album, you were like, I do like this one.
Yeah, it'll come to me in a minute.
Okay. Twangy.
It's not like, hang on, it's not like Brian Adams or something.
No, it's not, but you're along the right lines.
Yeah, it's I'm just trying to think what we've done. Hang on. I do. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's Bon Jovi.
It is Bon
Yeah,
Jovi.
sorry,
absolutely.
I
There you
got
go.
it was Bon Jovi a few minutes ago.
Okay, so
but
Bon
it's,
Jovi.
I'm trying to remember what the name of the song is.
So yeah, it's from their Keep the Faith album, which we did.
Yeah.
I honestly think about 2 seasons ago.
I feel like it was ages ago as well.
So I don't know why this is just coming out as a single.
No, I feel like this is a song that's got a chorus. I can remember, and I can't remember this bit of the
All right.
song.
Well, let me skip to, let's see here.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you go. Yeah.
Dry County.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fine. It's it's kind of late era. Well, it's not even late era Bon Jovi.
Mid-era, yeah.
But it's late good era.
No, well, yeah,
well,
indeed.
post good era.
All right, so that's number 10.
Gosh, when did we do that? I feel like it was...
Honest to God, I think it was the 1992 season.
No, it can't have been. It must have been 93, surely.
Well, I don't know.
Hang on. That was, 1992. November 92. Fuck
Right, so
me.
there you go. Okay, a year and a half later, we finally got that single. That's number 10. Number 9, and I cannot imagine that you'll remember this, but some of our listeners might. Rather, you'll remember it, but you won't know who it is. All right, it's called Shine On.
Yeah.
So that's been a given. Do you remember the song?
I've heard
You've
this,
heard this, yeah.
I'm not going to know who it is, though.
No. It's one of those ones that, pop.
Yeah.
Not house, but, sub-house.
Yeah.
It's Degrees of Motion with Shine On.
Degrees of Motion.
And this was all over the charts for a good while.
Would you have got that?
No.
If
Degrees of Motion?
we were in a pub quiz, would you have got that?
I wouldn't have got Degrees of Motion. No. I'd have got... If you'd played me a bit that didn't say Shine On, I think I would have got the title, but nah. Who the fuck are Degrees of Motion? I have no idea. Okay, so that's number 9. Number 8, and this one you'll get straight away.
It's the Shoop by Salt and Pepper,
No, it's the other one.
Oh, What a Man, sorry, yeah.
What a Man, indeed. Yeah, Salt and
Mighty,
Pepper
mighty
with
good man.
Salt and Pepper and...
On Vogue.
On Vogue, absolutely. What a Man. Yeah. Did you like this at the time?
I loved this.
Did you?
Yeah.
I thought at the time this was a bit too pop for me.
I thought it was loads of fun at the time.
Right, fair play. Okay, so that's number 8. Number 7 is Reel to Reel featuring the Mad Stuntman, which we have seen before.
Do you know what I started playing my daughter this week?
Go on.
And she's just really got into it.
Oh dear.
Who Let the Dogs Out by the Bar.
Oh, you're a bad person.
She fucking loves it.
That's absolute abuse.
She sings along and dances with it. We have quite yippee-yi-yo. We have quite a good time.
Jesus Christ. Oh dear, I'm so sorry. Number 6, and you don't have to say too much about this because we're going to have to do it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's Blur, Girls and Boys. And yes, we are going to have to do the whole Parklife album in the not too distant future, but we'll leave it until then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will just say, as a trailer, I don't like this song.
That's fair. Okay, that's number 6. Number 5.
Oh, God. D-Ream.
D-Ream, You Are the Best Thing. Yeah, shockingly bad. Absolute bullshit. And I think I mentioned before, imagine following up Things Are Gonna Get Better, your big single, with something this insipid.
I know, can you imagine?
Fucking, where's your career gone? Number 4 is Mariah Carey, Without You, which is why the album went back to number 1. Number 3 in the charts, this was massive.
Of course, there's Mariah Carey, With You.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely. That's a little spelling joke for everyone there.
I recognise this breakbeat.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to go up, isn't it? In a second. What is this? Oh, God, no, it's fucking Bruce Springsteen, Philadelphia.
There you go. Streets of
this
Philadelphia.
is what I thought it was going to do.
Oh,
I was
see. Yeah, no, this is Bruce as the boss with Streets of Philadelphia. I remember thinking this was one of the most boring songs I'd ever heard whenever it first came out.
Yeah, I did as well. I kind of quite like it now, I think.
It's like, what's that fucking Mark Cohn, Walking in Memphis? Never came round to that either.
Okay.
Yeah. Or...
Passed out to it a few times, though. Hey.
God's sake. Number 2, and we don't have to say too much about this because we're going to have to do it at some point.
Ace of Base, All That She Wants. No, it's, is it?
It's Ace of Base.
It's Ace of Base. What's it going to do? It's going to go... I saw the sign.
It's the sign.
I opened up my eyes and I saw the sign. It was a swastika.
So yeah, we're going to have to do the full album on that, so we don't need to say too much. That's absolutely fine. That's number 2, and here you go. Number 1. Fucking, novelty record time. This was fucking huge. I remember I was DJing the Student Union at this point as well, doing their pop nights.
Is it going to be the Mr. Blobby song?
It's not. No, that was at Christmas. We've already had that.
We have already had it, you're right.
No. This is marginally better, but not lots.
Oh, Thunderbirds.
No.
No. Kinky Boots?
No.
Hang on.
You are naming some pretty bad songs, so you're along the right lines.
That's not Doop.
It is Doop.
Doop. Oh God, I forgot that existed.
Yeah, mate. Doop.
Jesus. Doop.
For some reason, exactly this ragtimey thing was a hit. Oh my lord, I remember this being all over the place. Doing the Charleston. Shocking.
It's like they just rebranded the Jive Bunny, isn't it?
It honestly is, yeah. It's terrible, terrible, terrible. And I'm glad that, I had forgotten about it until now. It was just in the past. Doop. Right, so there's your top 10.
Right.
Not great, let's say.
No.
A couple of decent things, but not great. Here's one. Right. It's got to number 7, and you'll definitely know it.
Oh, was it Primal Scream?
Yes, it is.
It's stretched out like a tomcat, that thing. Stretched out like what's it fucking called? Hang on. Let's keep it drinking.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
What's it fucking called though? Keep it
Uh-oh.
keep it scoring. What's the song actually called?
It's the one that, the first one after the Screamadelica era, and everyone was like, what the fuck? This is Primal Scream?
Yeah.
Because it was produced by George
Rocks off.
Trigilius. Rocks, indeed. Rocks by Primal Scream there.
Just couldn't get to it.
Yep, that's number 7.
They came back like glam, didn't they?
Well, this is like them just doing the Stones.
Yeah.
Because, like I say, it was produced by George Trigilius, and essentially, Primal Scream are a band that sound like their producer.
Yeah.
So they sounded like Andy Weatherall for Screamadelica. They sounded like George Trigilius for this one. I think this song is dull and boring.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple of good tunes on the album in general, but I do not like this era of Primal Scream.
No.
Nah.
I am with you.
This one got to number 22, and I don't want to again say about how much I used to like this band and then didn't at this point, especially after some of the reaction we got on the last episode.
Was it probably? Hang on, what is it?
I mean, like I say, this is the album that both you and I are like, oh, this is a bit meh.
Yeah.
But I think their first 2 mini albums are amazing.
Oh, it's a Therapy.
It is Therapy. Yeah, it's Trigger Inside.
Yeah.
Therapy. Yeah, and I apologise to all the we've got some big Therapy fans listen to this, and in the last
upset with us, weren't they?
Last episode, we did get a few comments going, I can't believe you dissed that Therapy album. Trouble Gun wasn't for me.
We were quite.
Oh, we were fine about it, but people didn't understand. They couldn't understand why we didn't like it. Credit to the Nation released Teenage Sensation, got to number 24. Carter USM released Glam Rock Cops.
I remember the single title.
Right, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It also got to number 24 at a different time. This one, it's got to number 28, and I reckon you will know this. Because again, this was played in loads of the kind of the clubs that you would have been going to.
That sounds like Sensor.
Oh, well, same scene.
Is this to be like Back to the Planet or something like that, or fucking Chumbawamba? Consolidated.
Better than them, but absolutely, the kings of that scene. If Back to the Planet are the Surfs.
I have fucking heard this before.
You must have heard it. You'll have not necessarily danced to this, but you'll have been in the room with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's not Pop Will Eat Itself.
It is Pop Will Eat Itself.
It is Pop Will Eat Itself.
It's Pop Will Eat Itself, yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, indeed. It's the Ich bin ein Auslander single. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, exactly.
I've heard this many times.
You will have done. Here we go. Here's the chorus.
I think it's because we just said something wasn't Pop Will Eat Itself a minute ago.
I see. It can't be Pop Will Eat Itself. Right, sure. Yeah, there you go. So, Ich bin ein Auslander. Number 28. I think that's a good single. I don't think it's one of their best, but I do think it's one of the better ones of this era for me anyway. This one, I've stuck this one in just in case I don't know if you're a fan at all of this band, but it's a very catchy tune. Only got to number 52 in the UK charts. I think it was our friend Darren who introduced it to this.
Is it? I was literally about to say, is it Paul Weller?
No,
but,
no, it's not.
You know.
I mean, does it ring any bells as a song to you, or no?
It's ringing a really distant bell.
Is it?
What is it?
It's one of those guys that people revere, and I never explored any further.
Right.
Tom Petty.
Okay.
Mary Jane's Last Dance.
Right.
It's Tom Petty. Yeah. I think it's a really nice tune. I think it's really catchy. It's
perfectly decent.
Nice little feel to it. Only number 52, though. I'm assuming there's probably going to be some other listeners who are more into Tom Petty than we are and would have got that straight away. Curb Dog released Dry Riser, which got to number 60.
Mm-hmm.
I was just never particularly into them. They got touted in the press a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think I had Dummy Crusher.
Right.
And yeah, it just, I don't know. It was an album that Curb Dog just never quite grabbed me. Again, I suspect we're going to hear about this as well. But they just, I never had an issue with them. I never thought they were a bad band. They seemed like a nice group of lads in the band, but they just always seemed to be something better to listen to.
I think that the issue for me was that they were lacking the big tunes that I was after. Yeah, indeed. David Holmes released Johnny Favourite, which only got number 85, but it's the first time I've seen David Holmes in the charts.
Yeah.
So he's starting off 94.
94, yeah. I mean, I was kind of, when did you... this film's crap, Let's Slash the Seats was kind of when I knew David Holmes, which I'm guessing is like 96.
Yeah, probably, because it was in the middle of kind of the Big Beat era, even though it wasn't really Big Beat. I mean, I was probably aware of the name because he's from Belfast, you know, and he was DJing around Belfast. I'd have seen the name before, but I wasn't aware of him really as a music maker at all. So this is the first time I've seen something of his.
I'm a big fan of David Holmes. I mean, I've kind of lost track with what he does recently, but you know, that kind of late 90s, early 2000s, I was big into David Holmes.
Oh, he's got some really nice tunes in a sort of a more laid-back style, but he was also brilliant at compiling soundtracks.
Oh, mate, that what's that film called? Out of Sight. Out of Sight. That is a fucking fantastic soundtrack.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. It starts off with a Isley Brothers track.
It's your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. First time I'd ever heard that was because of that.
Amazing, man.
Really good.
Yeah.
So now the man's got an eye for a tune, obviously. Yeah. Compulsion released the Mall Monarchy EP, got to number 87, and they're another band that I remember getting talked about a lot. But again,
in that same kind of breath, I think my mate Grant had the album. I think I heard it, and I thought, I don't really care.
Tori Amos released Pretty Good Year, which we have obviously seen when we did the album. Got to number 7, so top 10 there. This one, it's got to number 13.
Is it The Shaman?
No, it's not.
There you go. Yeah, Violently Happy by Bjork.
Exactly. Yeah. Number 13, Violently Happy there. Still don't get it, especially that song. Don't get it. But here's a fucking banger for you.
Come on.
There you go. Maybe we talked about it before. Number 19, this got to with I'm Broken.
First tape I put in my car when I learnt to drive and went out for myself.
Man.
Like, I was like, this is what I'm going to go down the road to.
Yeah, that'll make you speed. Yeah, definitely. Number 19, and it's just fucking brilliant. Still to this day, just one of their best riffs. Absolutely fantastic. Love it. I've
got a playlist called Riffs, and I think that was about the second track I put on
it. Sure, it would be. It'd have to be. That's the law. This one got to number 38, and you're not going to get this at all, but it's one of those ones I mentioned the Charlatans before. This is the lead single off that album. I think this is nice. I think it's called I Never Want an Easy Life If Me and Him Would Ever Get Out of Here. I think it's dead nice, but it's not exactly groundbreaking, and they will be much better in the future. So this is cool, but whatever. It's one of those ones. However, this is a fucking banger, and
come on.
It might be worth looking at doing a whole thing on this album.
Don't fall too deep down. Yeah. Don't fall too deep down. Oh, man.
You remember which one? Right, so it's Censor.
Yeah. I'm coming back from the funky bass track. It's Age of Panic.
Nope.
No, it's not.
Nope.
Hang on. It's Too deep down. Don't fall too deep down. I'm coming back from the funky bass stack. See is what you get. Making money, making now. In and I'll show you exactly how.
So what's it called? Which one is it?
I'm trying to remember other tracks off the song titles. Hang on.
There's a whole fucking club night named after it.
It's not, well, obviously it's not Eject, it's not Stacked Up, it's
Stacked Up, the album.
Oh fuck,
what club night did you go to in Mirage? The what club?
I can never remember what these fucking things are called.
Nah, Bernie and Nick.
A Switch. Switch, yeah.
Switch. There
Mate,
you go.
You know, I'd have never remembered that there was a song called Switch. I mean, I can remember it word for word. Oh, yeah. Just couldn't remember what the fucking...
There you go,
so,
Switch.
Go.
What a tune, though.
Oh, brilliant.
What an album this is.
This is a
brilliant.
fantastic
Great album.
And I do wonder sometimes, I go, is it as good as we think it is? Or was it just important at the time? Right?
Yeah. Well, we could have a look and see.
We need to do this
We could go back to do the full. If we did it, it would be in about 3 or 4.
Oh fuck it! Let's do this, man.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. Let us know on Twitter. Do you think we should do Stacked Up by Sensor?
Yeah, it'd be an interesting album to do. Right, fantastic. This one, and again, you'll get this straight away, I'm sure.
Slow bowl, babe, come it up, get off of
Only got
me.
to number 46. This one.
Slow bowl.
Remember who it's by?
I do. It's Whale.
Whale, yes, indeed.
God, this fucking video gave me.
Well, yeah.
Erection.
Come on now.
Jesus Christ! Oh my God, this video. I don't know what it was. It was just that. Yeah. Well, I do.
Well, yeah.
I know exactly what it was.
I loved this single, and it was one of those ones that just dropped out of nowhere and was an instant indie club dance floor filler. Everyone was like, "This is fucking amazing!"
Yeah.
Loved it. And then they never did anything half as good after that.
Nope.
Not a thing. Here's one that's just ridiculous, and I don't know if you'll get this. Got to number 54.
This is a Clawfinger.
It is Clawfinger. Fucking hell. I didn't know if you'd get that.
Yeah.
Right. It's not The Truth.
Yeah.
And it's not the one that we can't say.
No. Hang on a minute.
Oh, man. I didn't think you'd get this at all.
Hang on.
I'm pretty sure I used to have this on 7-inch picture disc.
I saw Clawfinger more times than I like to admit. Not
just
on
always
purpose.
supporting someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you're going to get this.
I don't think I am.
It's called Warfare.
Warfare, yeah.
Yeah, F-A-I-R.
Ain't nothing fair, yeah.
Yeah,
fucking
there you
awful,
go.
yeah.
Warfare.
I wasn't going to get there.
Nah, fair enough.
But I mean, I named that tune in too.
You absolutely did. That's really more than I thought was going to happen. I mean, what the fuck was going on with Clawfinger?
I mean, Jesus Christ.
Were they Swedish?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm amazed that there hasn't been more of a fuss in our current sensitive era about that.
Surely because no one cares about Clawfinger anymore.
I mean,
surely they're not touring and still singing that.
I think they are.
Oh, are they? God.
Yeah. Basically, Clawfinger have got a song called The N-Word, and it's not called The N-Word.
Yes,
it is.
That's just what it's called.
Just called that word, right?
And that's the chorus as well.
Yeah, and that is the chorus, and it is clearly a well-meaning song.
Oh, it's anti-racist
by people that really didn't ask enough people about whether they should have done it that way or not. Yeah. And it starts off with the lyrics: "God damn my man, God damn my man,
God damn my man,
God damn my man." You know, like as if you're talking in a 70s funk film.
Brilliant. God
damn my man. I can't understand why you want to say that word to your brother, man. It was none of your fucking business, mate. In Sweden, that's the issue.
Stay in your lane.
It's stay in your lane, your socialist lane. It's a wonderful thing, but it's not your fucking. Oh, bless him.
Bless him.
They meant well, but a fucking major label released that.
Yes, I know. It was 1994. Different times.
I mean, it wasn't that fucking different. I at the time went, "This is eggy."
Oh,
at the time, I knew I was like, "Oh no!"
But it was also presumably designed to stir controversy, which it did, and it got them press and it got them attention.
Have a go at that these days,
yeah,
mate.
No, exactly. Well, someone who is having a go at that. Right Said Fred released Wonder Man. Only got to number 55. Don't remember that at all.
No, I mean, no one does.
No. Shed 7 released Mark. Got to number 80. And I think that might have been...
I didn't even know they'd captured him.
But
hey,
I think it might have been their first
where
single.
would they have kept him?
Well... it's not their best, but it's okay, that's all.
I mean, literally, you could not have just damned a song with Faint and Face.
Not the best Shed 7 song.
It's not the best Shed 7 song.
All right, well, let's do this one then.
Oh, it's Tool.
Yeah, Tool. Well, sorry, what one?
Hang on. It's Prison Sex.
It is Prison Sex. Yeah, so this came out as a single during this time. Got to number 81 in the charts. And this is the only...
Not in my world, it didn't.
Well, quite. It's the only single I have of theirs on vinyl.
I don't have either of these initial singles on vinyl. I passed up loads of opportunities to have them when I could have had them at a reasonable price and never got them.
What song, though?
I love it. They don't play it live anymore, though.
Well, they're not at all.
I don't think
because
they
of the lyrical content?
I don't know. I think it's a bit on the nose for it. I fucking love it, man.
Yeah. And one of the first ones I saw the video for as well. I went, oh, this is interesting.
I fucking love this song. One of my favourite Tool songs, in a weird way. One of my favourite Tool songs, depending on which day you ask.
Yeah, fine. All right, well, look, there's still loads more of these, so let's speed through some of these. These Animal Men released Speed King, got to number 95. So, yeah, there's the scene that the enemy were talking about. Remember this one?
Dreamer, life gets in the way. Is this a brand new heavies?
It is brand new heavies. Got to number 15. Wonder Stuff released Hot Love Now EP, which is...
The Wonder Stuff released Hot Love.
Hot Love Now. Ice Cube released You Know How We Do It. Got to number 41.
You Know How We Do It.
New Kids on the Block, again as NKOTB, released Never Let You Go.
Yeah, no, I don't think. I think Dirty Dog was as good as you're going to get.
No,
from me.
sure, and yeah, I listened to it, and it's a shit ballad.
Oh, of course,
so,
it is.
Fine.
Never Let You Go, my career.
Quite. Madder Rose released Panic On.
Again, one of those bands that I knew people that liked them. I read about them a lot.
I always got them confused with Mazzy Star.
Yeah,
Mazzy Star, Madder Rose. Madder Rose, I actually do think have some great songs.
Yeah, I've kind of put them in with like Grant Lee Buffalo and stuff like that
definitely.
as well.
Yeah, absolutely. See if you remember this one. Just because I've watched a couple of kind of hip hop documentaries recently, and this has been in both of them, I think. So let's see if you remember this at all. From 1994.
This is a Queen Latifah.
Queen Latifah, yes, it is.
And
it's called Unity.
Yeah, well, I mean, didn't she do this on the BET Awards as well?
I'm not sure.
Didn't they bring her out to when they did the BET Awards?
With everyone on it. Yeah, no, this was part of that.
Yeah,
indeed. I don't remember this from the time at all.
I kind of remembered it, having forgotten it for a long time recently. So I think I've probably seen. Yeah, it's probably
it's come back into consciousness a wee bit. Fucking, are you going to know this? Let's see. You might do. It's got to number 82.
It's a Hawaii Five-Way theme tune.
Yeah, it almost is.
TerraVision?
No, I'm pretty sure they're American. It's one of these bands that got talked about in probably the rock press, but never caught on.
Nothing on this
it's
one.
Paw.
Oh, Paw, is this Jessie?
This is Jessie, yes,
oh,
indeed.
Fucking hell, I didn't know.
Right.
Do you know what? I heard it and I went, oh, this is Jessie by Paw. And then it did that riff. And I was like, oh, I don't remember that being in there.
I see, right.
And I was like, yeah.
This is Jessie by Paw.
Jessie, you're a good... Yeah.
It's about a dog, isn't it?
What that was. Yeah. Again, it's one of those things that like, I kind of know that song and... know people that had the album. I was never massively into it otherwise.
They supported a load of bands as well. They're one of those ones. This one got to number 13. It's a big pop hit, and you'll definitely have heard it. I wonder if you know who it is.
It's Wigfield.
Almost. Pop dance. Spotify. It's called Son of a Gun.
Yeah.
JX is who it's by.
I would never have got that.
And I have a feeling, and just from an email that we got sent from a listener, I think that we might talk about JX a bit more whenever we do the upcoming Erasure album. I think maybe he did some production with Erasure at this point. So we'll see. But yeah, Jay, I actually really like that tune. I think it's very catchy pop dance.
Mm-hmm.
We're starting to see these guys come through.
It's Pulp.
It is Pulp, absolutely.
Yeah.
Got number 33 only, this one. Can you remember which one this is?
I remember which one it is. I just remember what it's called. Hang on. Turned off the lights again. What's the name of the song?
Yeah, we're running way over it. This is Do You Remember the First Time?
Remember the first time? Yeah.
And then I've only got a couple more. This one, we've kind of talked about the album many times.
Traveling. It's Teenage Fan Club, De La Soul, and it's from the Judgment soundtrack.
Yes, indeed. It's called Fallen. Fallen, indeed.
And based off of a Tom Petty song.
Tom Petty, exactly. And the last one I've got, I can't play to you, which is a real shame because it's not on Spotify, but New Kingdom released Cheap Thrills.
Oh, I fucking love it. I'd have had that in seconds, mate.
Really good song.
A lot of my friends are heavy drinkers.
Only got to number 90, but yeah, good tune.
Smoked a spliff with them at the Reading Festival.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I remember I saw them in Northampton, I think, supporting Censor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I love New Kingdom, man. I think like both those albums, man, are excellent.
Top notch. There you go. Okay, so look, that was a ton of singles, and I know...
That really was.
Yeah. There's a feature on our podcast host where I'm apparently able to split stuff into chapters. And so I'm going to try and do that. Some podcast players will accept it and some might not. But if you're getting bored of the singles at any point, it might be the fact that you can just fucking skip to the next section of us actually talking about Morrissey. For any Morrissey fans who joined us,
I think people come for the singles, mate. That's what they come for.
Indeed, but that was a lot of singles.
That was a poor performance by me today, man. So my brain, I couldn't make the synapses connect.
It's like you were kind of there, but close, but no cigar.
Yeah, it's annoying. Right, okay, let's crack into the next track.
The last bits of Morrissey.
Used to Be a Sweet Boy is the one, track number 9.
And this is track number 9 of 11, so we're near the end of this album.
Now,
yes,
I'm gonna be honest with you, this one lyrically caught me a bit askew.
Okay.
This one caught me, and I think it's just because it's a subject that I think about.
Oh, I see. Okay,
because this is a song. It's the thing. I used to be a sweet boy. Used to be happy, proudly holding my daddy's hand.
Yes.
That thing, right? And I tell you, right. I think just because I've got 2.5-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
And she is so happy.
Oh yeah.
So happy all the time, and she lives in her own little world.
Yeah.
And it's just it's the greatest source of joy in my life.
Lovely. Yep.
And I have to kind of juxtapose that and go, there's this world out there, and the world's not very nice a lot of the time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fucking shit that goes on. And with all your heart, I just want her to not lose the joy that she's got.
Of course, I'm sure that's every parent's dream.
But inevitably, you have to, because you can't, because it's a weird thing. It's like, because you feel responsible for it, but at the same time, you can't be, because you
got no control over
you can't manage their interactions with people, you know. And you just I guess you just kind of pray that it's not the things that you do that fuck them up. And that's the interesting thing in here, because the second part of this is, I'm not like that anymore, and it's not my fault. It's not my fault. And it's like, well, where is the fault? And it's the whole thing of like, I just hope I don't get to a point in my life where my daughter is like, I'm fucked up, and it's kind of because you did this, this.
Right.
And it's something that like weighs on my mind a lot.
Again, I'm sure you're not alone. Parents must think that all the time. But for me, this song, I think, is pretty dull.
I think the song itself is relatively nondescript.
For you to have picked anything out of this I think is interesting because I get nothing from this one bit.
Okay, I see, and this is the thing. I think this, as I said the song here is relatively nondescript.
Yeah.
But that lyric, and the thing was, I was, going through it, and I went,
it hit
this
a,
is just
a nerve.
this is just something I think about a lot.
I see. Okay, no, obviously you must do. Yeah, yeah. Used to be a sweet boy. I'm not to blame. Something went wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's like, is that a barb? Because he specifically mentions his father in the first part.
Yes.
And he specifically doesn't in the second part. There's two people in that. Mm-hmm. I'm not to blame. Is that?
It must be you.
Is that the barb? I don't know. Or is that
right.
me projecting that onto it? I don't know, because that's where my thought process is.
Right. No, I hadn't thought about that. I don't know. I think this is whenever I think about the way that this album must have been written, because Morrissey did all the lyrics, and then these two guys, Alan White and Boz Berman or something like that, the two guitarists in the band, they took turns in writing songs. And I don't know whether it was essentially they would present a tune to Morrissey, and Morrissey would go, oh yeah, I've got some lyrics, or I will write some lyrics to that, or if he says I want to do a song about this, and they write the tune. I don't know which way around it goes, or if it's both ways, but I cannot see either of them, whichever way around it is, being presented with the other half of this song and going, yeah, wicked, I've got something that'll work for this, because I think there's two verses of nondescript, boring nonsense, both musically and lyrically. I don't know why either of them has gone, there's something here, let's try this.
I don't think the lyrics are bad. I think they're quite poignant, well-written lyrics that are evocative of a subject.
I mean, they must be, because there's 4 lines, basically.
Yeah, and for me, it did the thing that if you've done some of the groundwork on it yourself, then you're doing the heavy lifting as well. But it did the thing that lyrics are supposed to do. It engaged me in that. But again, I won't go to bat for the song. No, I think there's just nothing going on in the song
at all. No. Right, okay, all right, fine. I didn't think you'd get anything out of that at all, but I'm happy you did.
Yeah. So, track 10?
Track 10, The Lazy Sunbathers, which is a fun phrase to say.
It is. Okay, so when it's kind of bright, kind of, almost kind of, I guess, well, it reminds me a bit of Earth Angel, but like, Earth Angel, kind of rock and roll.
God, yeah, I can't remember who did it, but okay, yeah, right.
Yeah. But it's also got a bit of that kind of thing that Britpop did, where they reappropriated old songs a little bit.
Yeah,
and it's about vapid humanity, isn't it? They're like those who ignore the terrible world around them, and he's going, "You idiots! You're so fucking stupid that you don't know well enough that the world's so terrible that the thing to do is be miserable all the time."
Right.
And how are you able to enjoy yourself when my mind won't leave me alone? That's kind of what I read this as.
Oh, I see, right.
And, I kind of used to think like that, and I have my moments when I think like that, but I kind of, but ultimately it's like, I'm more like, well, fucking, I'm kind of more just jealous that you people can just get on with it. You know what I mean?
Well, the imagery is the lazy sunbathers, people just relaxing on the beach while there's a war going on. It's like World War II is happening on the other side of this ocean, and you're just having a nice time.
Yes.
But obviously then that is expanded to this bit about the planet's core, and the planet's dying, and you're just trying to have fun day to day. So it's the apathy of the general public, and just the selfishness of not caring, what happens to anybody else. And I have nothing against the misery or the misanthropy here. Nothing at all. I'm fine with both of those, but it's fucking dull.
Oh, it's
just a dull song. This is lowest common denominator Morrissey fair,
mate,
right?
Yeah, it is. It's like the teacher from Peanuts cartoons.
Yeah, I this is the sort of thing that I thought this album was going to be full of, and I was scared it was going to be.
I don't feel like this is that different. Something that you've liked,
right? No, you see, I think this is a totally different type of thing to the first 4 or so.
Right. Okay.
I really do. I see a big difference. I think this is
fine,
very boring.
All right. Well, let's leave that one.
Leave that. Okay. Scrap that one.
So the last track is called Speedway.
Yeah. Track number 11, Speedway.
And when you slam.
Now, so you've got this kind of
chug.
And look, this is coming up in a second. It's got, again, an incredibly obnoxious sample in it.
This little sound, this chainsaw sound effect.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be a speedway bike, isn't it?
Oh, is it? All right.
Speedways.
Oh, that
the
makes
whole
sense.
thing is around it. But I'll be honest with you. Outside from that,
Yeah.
musically, this is easily my favourite song on this record.
I think this is great. I think it's really good.
This is, for me, there's some really nice inflections. The chorus on this I particularly like. Lyrically, it's kind of, it's fuck you rumours, etc., etc. Same kind of self-pitying kind of thing. I've used screed in my notes about 8 times here for some reason.
Well, I mean, it is self-pitying, but he's also saying, all the rumours keeping me grounded, I never said they were completely unfounded.
Yeah, but I've kind of but contextualised with the soaring it's kind of vaguely kind of post-rocky backdrop.
Yeah, no, definitely.
It just seems more palatable, and as I say, there's that little bit of self-reflection. I never said I wasn't this, as you say.
Absolutely.
I'll be honest with you, if the rest of the album had sounded like this, I'd have had a much better time.
This was the one that stood out to me on the first initial listens. I went back to this one. I've replayed this one a few times because I thought, oh, this is really good. This has got a riff to it. I really like what he's doing vocally. This was more of an instant one for me. It took the other ones that I do like more time to get under my skin. But this was the first kind of more visceral reaction one that I had to it. I think it's very good, and I do like the way he says all those lies, written lies, twisted lies, well, they weren't lies. You know? So it's like he's owning a bit of his own bullshit.
Yes.
And he's saying that some of the stuff in the press that he said about him that is horrible, maybe there's an element of truth to it, and that's fine. And again, that speaks to the whole thing about the growing up and the maturity that is apparently running through this album, where he's taking a bit more responsibility, but it's not 100% that. He's still painting himself as a bit of a victim as well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
he says, I could have mentioned your name, I could have dragged you in.
Yeah,
so it's like,
the
I'm
argument
the good guy
it's
here.
about the relationship he's in at the time, isn't it?
I'm not sure. I don't know who he's talking about.
This is something I read.
I see, right.
And I don't know how true it is. Someone said he was in a relationship with a boxer at this time.
Oh, I see.
And he's saying, well, I could have got you involved in this.
Is that right?
And I didn't.
Because I wondered if it was about the other members of the Smiths.
Right.
Because all the press at the time would have been, well, Morrissey's a dick, but Johnny Marr's a genius. And so I wondered if there's stories he could tell about the other members, whenever they were breaking up, that would paint them in a bad light, and he never did. Or if he's just saying that sort of shit to go, well, maybe don't judge me too harshly because I'm not the only one. I don't know. But I think it's a really good tune.
Yeah, this is easily my favourite song on the album.
And I know what you mean that... I'm not saying that if every song had sounded like this I'd be happier, but I'm very happy that there's something like this in the second half of the album.
Yeah.
It was really... It hit a slump for me.
For me,
it was totally front-loaded apart from this.
Because he's got this kind of sail in his vocal.
Yep.
That lilt in the vocal. And to hear something that kind of soars and swoops and does some more stuff.
Yep.
It kind of gives this idea of like just different layers of ascent, I guess.
There's much
really
more
badly
going on.
worded, but
there's much more going on. He's much better at what he's doing. It fits better. It all gels in this one.
Yeah, and obviously, it kind of plays more into my wheelhouse of what I'm interested in musically to a degree.
If you took his vocals off this, like you say, that soundscape behind, again, the big swathes of guitar going on, it's much more interesting for you, I'd imagine.
Yeah. I will listen to this song again.
Lovely.
Okay, so how do you feel about the album?
It's gonna sound like faint praise, but I am delighted with how much I liked it more than I thought I was going to. I thought I was going to just be wading through drudgery for the whole thing.
What are you, like 6 or 7 or 11?
I'm probably 5 of 11, which is, again, amazes me.
I'm
5, 6. I'm 6 of 11. Yeah. The first 5 and the last one, I think, are very good.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm more than happy with this. I'm really impressed. And I'm glad it's done because I was dreading it, but I'm glad it turned out the way it did.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm different to that. For the most part, I don't like this record.
Fine.
I find the music kind of dull and uninspiring.
Is it pretty much what you thought it was going to be?
Mostly, yeah.
Fine.
I mean, but Morrissey remains an enigma, really. Because he's capable of these beautiful, heartfelt lyrics, and obviously a talented person, but just so mired in his own inadequacies and pettiness. It's an interesting one. I mean, I won't return to this, but I'm glad we did it as an exercise.
No, true, absolutely. I'm glad we did it because it proved to me that there is more
to Morrissey Dan Dis.
There's more to Morrissey solo than I thought there was.
Right.
I thought after those first initial, like I say, Every Day's Like Sunday, I thought, well, there's nothing after that. And yeah, maybe there is.
Well, I'm interested that, the last track on the, it's almost like, oh, here we are. Oh, it's over. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, true enough.
But, okay, so...
well, in that case, maybe what I said at the start, if that had been the first track and the first track had been the last track, I'd have been totally fine with that because that coming in as a statement and then the last one as the kind of the more epic outro, I think would have worked better.
I'd have been really upset. I'd have been like, oh, it's it's just this shit. Right, okay, so should we go to Twitter?
Indeed, what did the other listeners think? David O'Brien, he said, I love this album from the menace of Spring Heel Gym to the surrealism of Lifeguard Sleeping Girl Drowning via a welcome lack of overly long tracks about how miserable he is.
And that is a fair point.
I will definitely give him that.
Definitely give him
only
that.
One song approaching 5 minutes, everything else like 3.5. So well done, Morrissey. He says, this album represents a high watermark in his career, but it was all downhill from here. And that does seem to be, even in the reviews that you read at the time or people reassessing, people go, oh, this was one of his stronger solo albums, but it's the last really good one. Even Morrissey fans seem to agree on that.
Yeah. John in Leeds, probably the best just south of the River Thames records. Actually, no, Waterloo Sunset is better. Pisses all over the Lambeth Walk, though.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Yeah. Niall Bakewell of the Zeros has said that never has a face more come to personify the phrase, I'm not racist, right? But yeah.
Yeah.
It is one of those things. We haven't really mentioned it, but it's a shame that he's just. We always knew he was going to be a dick. He's a narcissist dickhead, but it's a shame he's gone down that particular path.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah. At Agmo 2012, what a lead single, The More You Ignore Me was. Remember it being on Top of the Pops. He disappeared for a long while after this.
Yep, no, I think that's probably true. This was. Well, he said this was going to be his last one, and obviously wasn't. He did seem to take a bit of time away after this. Sarcastic but fantastic said, I love Vauxhalls. Morrissey, though, I only know a few things from the Smiths and his 2000 revival. As for the person, the less said, the better.
Yeah,
again, that's the thing that kind of is going to follow him round is the personality.
Probably fair. Okay, so with Ogre Mail, his best record by a country mile, in their opinion.
Right. Yeah,
okay, fair enough. I'm glad. Glad you like it.
But it does seem to be people who like the Smiths and Morrissey, the fans of theirs, do seem to rate Vauxhall And I as one of the high points.
Absolutely. I'm on the wrong side of this argument, probably.
Right, yeah. Brother77 said, I never listened to this at the time, but I've heard it in recent years. Much as I dislike him as a person, one thing you can't dispute, fucker knows how to write a song. And this is not quite on a par with Viva Hate or most of the Smiths, but I think it's a really good record. That definitely rings true. No one. I don't think anyone's ever going to go, well, Morrissey's solo is better than the Smiths. I don't think anyone can ever really go down that path.
I bet Morrissey would.
That's true.
Okay, Gaz Jones.
Gaz from
Gaz.
The Track One Side One podcast.
Got into the Smiths in a massive way the year after this. 95 was the only time I bought a Mozza solo album too, in the form of Southpaw Grammar.
Oh, yeah.
Still sound by the fact that the lead singer of that, Dagenham Dave, is a banger. Still a grade A cunt though.
Yeah,
Hashtag Team Mar.
Miss Disorder Lee has said she only recalls that she likes The More You Ignore Me. That's the only one that seems to stand out for her. I mean, it was the lead single. It's the only one I remember from the time at all. Fair enough.
Yeah. Mark Burrows. I believe Morrissey died soon after the making of this record and hasn't been heard from since. It's a fair point. There's a few replies to that one. Yeah, like when Weezer split not long after their debut album. Controversial.
It's the classic, Jimi Hendrix, Kurt Cobain thing. Would it have been better if they just never made any more music?
Well, yeah. For sure.
But no, there is a good reply to that. Will Arthur has said he's got a different theory that he's happy to share about Morrissey, and he's called it the Pet Cemetery Gates theory. Morrissey died in 1986 while on their North American tour immediately after their August 3rd gig. The rest of the band took Moz's body to Ludlow in Maine, where they buried him in an old Micmac burial ground, but they didn't know the ground went sour. The person that they put up there ain't the person that came back. The band went on about their tour over the course of the next year, However, tensions between the band and their undead frontman led to their breakup, and Morrissey embarked on his 30-year solo career, deteriorating more and more as time went on. Sometimes dead is better.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of almost more plausible than the truth.
Indeed. If you haven't read Stephen King's Pet Sematary, that might not mean much to you, but it's a nice little theory to have.
But yeah, anyway, guys, thanks for getting in contact on Twitter, as always. If you want to get in contact with us, we are PCL Podcast on Twitter. Instagram, we're not really on Instagram that much. Facebook, you can find us. But we always appreciate people getting in contact.
Absolutely.
So
we're at the stage.
We've got to pick a track for our playlist.
Okay. I mean, there's only really two that we agreed on, which I think is absolutely fine. Do we want to put them both? I mean, so Speedway, the very last track that we talked about there, you like that, it's your favourite. I think that's very good, so I'm happy to put that on if you want to do that. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's a one-song album.
Right, yeah.
But if you feel particularly strongly about it, I'll, because you really liked it, I'll put the other one on just for...
I mean, the other one, I think that you had some of it was Hold On To Your Friends, wasn't it?
Yeah. I thought that one, fourth track, I thought that one... No, yeah. I thought that one was absolutely fine. I didn't love it. But,
I see, okay.
But, if you feel like...
I do. I really like it.
Stick it on.
All right. I would like to do that as well, because I think it's excellent. Let's do that. If
you think Krista's gone insane, then you let know. Stick it on, man.
Right, wicked. So there's two. I'm happy, mate. I thought we'd struggle to find one.
Well, look, yeah. I mean, I agree. Let's as always, you can go on our website. You can find the links to the playlist.
Yes, the ongoing
pieces. We should probably tweet them out again at some point.
Yeah, we'll do that. I mean, they're in the description of every episode, so you can see them on there. But yeah, I'll chuck something out soon on Twitter, I'm sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. We're going to be back next time. It's going to be... I'm not sure what the next episode's going to be yet. It's either going... Because it's 100th episode next time, as we alluded to earlier. It will either be Nine Inch Nails' Downward Spiral or Soundgarden Super Unknown.
Yeah, we'll see which one we're going to do first.
Or it'll be an enormous 5-hour episode with both of them on.
God.
It definitely won't be that. But yeah, hopefully we'll have that out for you in a couple of weeks, depending on how we go. All right, mate. Well, thank you for joining us. Krista, pleasure as always.
Always, sir. Always.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you, and everyone in between, we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for checking out this episode of Pop Collaborate and Listen. It was produced and edited by us, for which we can only apologise. We are on Twitter at PCL Podcast, on Instagram also at PCL Podcast, and Facebook.com/PCL Podcast. All of these, plus links to our various Spotify playlists, etc., are on our website, which is PCLpodcast.com. Please feel free to get in contact via any of the social media or on PCLmusicpodcast@gmail.com.